It starts with a single, theoretical explosion, not to end a war, but to begin a new one. A war between humanity and the ocean itself. But to understand this apocalyptic end, we must first witness its birth. A single catastrophic scar etched upon a sleeping continent. A single action in one frozen corner of the world designed to trigger a permanent, irreversible change for every other. This isn't a story of fire and heat. It's a story of pressure, of fracture, and a weapon that exists only in our most terrifying simulations. Welcome back to Destructive Explosions. Today, our AI will answer a chilling question. What happens when we finally break Antarctica? Our target, the Antarctic continent. The planet's largest reserve of fresh water, a giant of ice holding the world's oceans in check. More specifically, the Thwaites Glacier. Scientists call it the Doomsday Glacier, and our simulation will now show you why. It's held in place by a fragile underwater pinning point, a single cork holding back an unimaginable flood. Our simulation is designed to pull that cork. The tool for the job, a cryo-seismic charge. It doesn't burn, it vibrates. It doesn't melt, it shatters. The Gaia Prime AI begins its analysis, scanning the vast ice sheet for the single point of maximum structural weakness. The AI has found it, a single point deep beneath the surface where the entire ice shelf is at its most vulnerable. The preparation phase begins. A plasma drill carves a path, creating a direct conduit to the heart of the sleeping giant. The device is deployed, a single instrument of change descending into the cold darkness, its very presence stressing the ancient ice. Every variable is calculated. Every joule of energy is accounted for. The goal is not annihilation, but a perfectly engineered structural failure. In position, armed, a continent, and the world holds its breath, unaware of the change that is to come. From orbit, a false peace. The surface of the planet shows no sign of the immense energy waiting to be unleashed below. The automated activation sequence begins. These are the final 10 seconds of the world as we know it. 7 seconds. The energy within the core condenses. A force equivalent to a magnitude 9 earthquake, trapped in a metal shell. 4 seconds. The ground itself begins to tremble. A faint tremor from the leaking energy, a final warning. 0. Detonation, no sound, no fire, just a silent, invisible pulse of kinetic energy released into the heart of the ice. The kinetic shockwave propagates, distorting the very fabric of the ice, stretching its crystalline bonds to their absolute limit. The force reaches the surface. The ground heaves upwards in a grotesque bulge before the structure fails completely. The fracture begins, and there it is, the first crack, seen from space. A new glowing blue boundary line, drawn by pure energy. It's a battle of primordial forces, the explosive energy of the charge versus the ancient resilience of millions of tons of ice. The energy is not yet spent. It continues to seek the weakest paths through the ice, a web of destruction spreading from within. The data confirms it. Structural integrity has dropped below the point of no return. The collapse is now inevitable. Secondary ruptures begin to occur as immense pressure is released, setting off an uncontrollable cascading chain reaction. The topography of an entire continent is being rewritten in a matter of minutes, a spectacle both majestic and terrifying. From orbit, the scale of the destruction is absolute. The cork in the bottle has been completely and utterly shattered. With nothing holding them back, the fractured pieces of the ice shelf begin to drift, and gravity begins its inexorable work. Warm ocean water, the mortal enemy of ice, floods the new crevices, beginning an accelerated assault from below. The simulation shows the melt rate increasing exponentially. The explosion was only the trigger. The ocean is the true weapon. The mass imbalance creates spectacular phenomena. Mountains of ice, once stable for millennia, now topple like towers. The initial battle is over. The energy has won. But the real war, the war against the water, has just begun. The cork is broken. The main body of the Doomsday Glacier begins its final, unstoppable journey from the land into the sea. This action is called calving. But this is not the birth of an iceberg. It is the funeral of a continent. The amount of displaced water is unimaginable. The world's oceans don't create a wave. The entire ocean itself begins to rise. Every second, millions of cubic meters of fresh water pour into the global system, a catastrophic injection of volume. And this event doesn't just raise sea levels, it fundamentally disrupts the ocean currents, the planet's entire climate control machine. Newly born mountains of ice, some the size of small countries, become mobile hazards, drifting into the arteries of global traffic. The part we see is only the tip. The true danger, the immense continent-shifting mass, is always hidden beneath the surface. The melt will continue for decades, but the forecast is clear. The most catastrophic sea level rise will occur within the first few years. The trace of this simulated event will remain on the face of the planet forever, a permanent scar to mark the day everything changed. Every single one of these dripping drops of water, multiplied by trillions, is a single reason for the catastrophe that is to come. The simulation now transitions from a local event to its ultimate conclusion, the global consequence forecast. The consequences begin to spread, not with the speed of an explosion, but with the cruel, relentless inevitability of the tide. The lowest-lying nations on the planet are the first victims. They are not just flooded, they are completely erased from the map. Venice, a city that mastered water for 1,000 years, is now utterly and completely consumed by it. The arteries of the great coastal cities, their subways and tunnels, begin to flood from within. New York is the first of many. Even the masters of water control in the Netherlands, with the most advanced dikes in the world, must surrender to a force too great. The great icons of human civilization, like London's Big Ben, now serve only as tragic markers for the encroaching disaster. No continent is immune. From the futuristic coasts of Tokyo, the ocean's wrath shows it recognizes no borders. The disaster doesn't only threaten the future. In Alexandria, it consumes the past, wiping away the cradles of civilization. Places that were once defined by their beautiful beaches, like Rio's Copacabana, find those beaches have simply vanished. In Sydney, another icon of modern architecture, the Great Opera House is being reclaimed by the sea. For the world's great low-lying deltas like the Mekong, this isn't a flood. It is a complete and total erasure from the map. The vibrant economic hubs of Southeast Asia, like Ho Chi Minh City, are transformed into modern architectural swamps. The final statistic is calculated. 2 million square kilometers of land, an area the size of Mexico, gone forever. 600 million people, 1/10 of the world's population, are directly affected, creating the largest migration crisis in human history. The world's seaports, the arteries of global trade, are paralyzed. The supply chain that powers our civilization grinds to a halt. The world's most fertile farmlands, the great coastal river deltas, are inundated with salt water, triggering a global food crisis. The final measurement of the simulation is taken, a global sea level rise of 6 meters. The world is now permanently changed. The Statue of Liberty, a symbol of freedom and hope, has now become a prisoner of the very ocean it once welcomed ships from. This is a disaster with no winners, only survivors, scattered across a new, shrunken, and broken world. This is the new face of planet Earth, its coastlines permanently redrawn, its geography forever redefined by ice and water. The machine has completed its task. It has dispassionately and accurately shown us one possible, terrifying future. From a distance, the planet still looks blue, beautiful, and peaceful. But for the survivors on its surface, everything has changed. Our explosion was a work of fiction, but the threat it represents is frighteningly real. The Doomsday Glacier is melting and fracturing right now on our real Earth, without any need for a fictional device. Our AI simulated a rapid, accelerated collapse. The reality may be slower, but the destination remains the same without intervention. The real-world data does not lie. The melt is accelerating. The crisis is not theoretical. It is ongoing. This simulation should not be seen as a prophecy. It must be seen as a warning, a visualization of a future we must choose to avoid. The system's harshest, most logical lesson is this: Once a tipping point is crossed, the consequence is irreversible. The true enemy in the real world isn't a single explosive device, but the cumulative effect of billions of small actions, repeated every single day. The greatest destructive power is not always a sudden bang, but a slow, relentless, and planetary-scale warming. We imagined a spectacular cinematic destruction, a single dramatic event to explain the change. But perhaps the real ongoing destruction looks much more ordinary and much, much slower. The true enemy isn't a bomb. It's a molecule, invisible, odorless, and right now, it is all around us. It has created a perfect heat trap on a planetary scale, letting the sun's energy in, but refusing to let it leave. But this story does not have to end in disaster. The solutions, the tools to fight back already exist. The real war is not a fight against the rising ocean, but a fight for the balance of the planet's climate itself. Technology showed us the worst possible outcome. It can also be the very tool that shows us the path to a better future. The choice, in the end, after all the data has been run and all the simulations complete, is still ours to make. All climate change data presented in this video is based on published, peer-reviewed scientific research. The explosion is a fictional narrative device used to illustrate a scientific reality. But the consequences it represents are real. Thank you for joining Destructive Explosions on this journey to explore the relationship between power and consequence. Our channel visualizes these theoretical events to help us better understand the complex and fragile world we all inhabit. If you found this simulation offered a valuable perspective, we encourage you to share it. And don't forget to subscribe, so you don't miss the next theoretical scenario from the Gaia Prime simulation. Let us know your thoughts and your ideas for future simulations in the comments section below. Coming next, what if an explosion could reverse Earth's magnetic poles?